some guys we don't quiet still.
Nice.
Mistake. Either be mistake or now we full set off. Ascend and relax.
Yes, they can understand.
Whatever I'm will come.
Yeah.
Will come personal.
Yes.
And I front and back.
Front and back. Emmanuel. Cheku.
Oh, now you said he said, eh?
Yes.
Huh?
Let me say one. Yeah, but I think that will be too because.
Yeah, for Barcelona, yes, so he said that was this application of the analysis to aid self-finding. Make no pass away now.
Not yet.
You have to be human. They could keep calling office in that.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the entrance of His Excellency the President of the Republic of Sierra Leone, retired Brigadier Dr. Julius Maada Bio, the Supreme Head of State, Commander-in-Chief of the Republic of Sierra Leone Armed Forces, the Fountain of Honor, Unity, Freedom and Justice. National anthem, please. Please be seated. We would like to commence this short ceremony by inviting the presence of God with a minute of silent prayers, please. Amen. Amen. Your Excellency the President, the Honorable Chief Minister, the Minister of Information and Communications, the President of SLAJ and other executive members, advisors to the President, Your Excellency, at the just concluded 50th Golden Jubilee AGM of SLAJ, you instructed the Honorable Chief Minister to represent you, and at the dinner ceremony, a special recognition award was announced in your honor by the Sierra Leone Association of Journalists. Today we are here for a formal presentation of this recognition award by the President of SLAJ and the Executive. And on that note, I now have the singular honor to invite the Honorable Mohamed Rahman Soare for a declaration of purpose. The Honorable Minister, please.
Your Excellency, sir, Presidential advisors here present, members of SLAJ, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, not forgetting the Chief Minister. Your Excellency, over the weekend, of SLAJ, as Sector Minister, to commemorate their 50th anniversary. Incidentally, it was a very special moment too. SLAJ and I struck the 50-year threshold together. So that was, for me, a pre-celebration. SLAJ literally beat me by chest. but we are still there. It was a very exciting potpourri of events. It brought journalists from across the country. It was a sight to behold. Your Excellency, during that meeting, SLAG they did not conceal the fact that you have won their hearts. You have rekindled their trust and confidence in your leadership, particularly as it relates to freedom of the press and deepening freedoms. Your Excellency, like the Master of Ceremony mentioned, during that occasion, they singled you out for recognition for your relentless efforts and unabiding commitment to ensuring a free and unshackled media. So I'm happy that you are here today to receive that award in person. But just by way of a little addition, yesterday, Your Excellency, I was at the launch of the Transfer to Transform project, Decent Work program. During the presentation, former Malawian Head of State, Madam Joyce Banda, paid very glowing tributes to your leadership for leading the crusade for the protection of women and girls and women's emancipation generally. I'm aware that SLAG beat Madam Joyce Banda a little bit. She called you a breath of fresh air amongst the new generation of African leaders who is trying to haul her country from the abysmal depths to which it has sunk. SLAG is here today to award you Champion of the Free Media. Yesterday, Madam Joyce Banda described you as Champion of Women and Girls Emancipation. So they beat, because they did this at the weekend, and Madam Banda did yesterday. So again, you beat her by chest. Your Excellency, you have, during your short tenure, you have done a lot for the media. You have dared where others have failed. Even though you remain the most castigated, the most vilified, the most lampooned presidential candidate in the history of our country, nobody imagined that you will be the rejected stone that eventually becomes the cornerstone, bringing an end to 55 years of speculation, 55 years of trials and tribulations for the media. So the media thinks that is so important a milestone to go unrecognized. For that reason and several others that you continue to do for the media, they believe of all leaders who have come and gone, some literally clawing to power on the back of repealing the criminal libel law, but it all ended up being all motion, no movement, and they believe you are the most deserving candidate for the award they are about to give you today. I am not going to bother anybody about your commitment to continue to subvert SLAG, your commitment to continue to support them get a permanent residential address as office. I will not mention your government's efforts to accede to the Global Media Freedom Coalition so that journalists in grinding and difficult times could always seek global support and, solace. On that note, Your Excellency, I wish to introduce to you the membership of SLAG. I'll introduce the president so that he introduces the rest of his team. Seated there is a smooth-talking monk who hardly speaks without leaving an impression of vivid pictorial evidence. Monk has been able to hold an otherwise very fractured organization together. This is a 100% literate organization. They disagree, but I am told the only thing that did not garner any disagreement in their ranks was your choice for this year's award. So on that note, the monk, Mr. Sahib Nasrallah, it's my pleasure to call you to introduce your team, and I will get the position to the competent hands of the president to continue the rest of the program. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, the Honourable Minister of Information and Communications. Now my pleasure to invite the President of SLAG, Mr. Ahmed Said Nasrallah, for his statement and presentation of award.
Your Excellency, Chief Minister, the Minister of Information and Communications,
presidential advisors, the press secretary and his team, senior colleagues in the room, my national executive, the Vice President of SLAJ, Kevin Lewis. Good afternoon, everyone. Let me start by introducing my executive. I'll start from the Vice President, Esther K. Kado. Financial Secretary, Fatmata Kamara. Organizing Secretary, Bakar Singh. Assistant Secretary General, Alaji Manika Kamara. Public Relations Officer, Mrs. Gibbs. And with us, we have the ex-official, the immediate Vice President, Mr. Kevin Lewis. Your Excellency, let me start by expressing our disappointment that we were not able to attend our Golden Jubilee Annual General Meeting 2021 in Bo City to receive the Press Freedom Award in Bessie. We have wanted the whole national and regional executives, as well as the entire membership of SLAJ, to physically join in expressing our profound thanks and appreciation for the repeal of the criminal libel laws. We wanted to demonstrate in our own special way our grateful thanks so that you can also join in feeling that sense of freedom, which only those who have been to jail can relate to. For it is when you have been locked up and then released that you can fully appreciate what freedom means and how valuable it is for that fundamental human right to be respected and protected. Nevertheless, Your Excellency, the fact that you sent a very high-ranking Chief Minister to represent you, backed by your trusted Information Minister and your dependable Press Secretary to receive the award on your behalf, indicated to us that you must have had other pressing state matters to attend to. Your Excellency, all presidents and junta heads of state we've had in this country, including your very self, have jailed journalists using the criminal and the seditious libel law, but no one was brave enough to repeal the law. This was a law that shackled Israeli media and journalists for 55 odd years. This law flourished under post-independent Sierra Leone, a prolonged one-party system, and multi-party democracy. This law was used 99% by successive governments and politicians to cover the media and intimidate and incarcerate journalists to escape being held to account and to clamp down on dissenting views. This law prevented women from coming into journalism and aspire for leadership positions in the media industry. This law prevented private sector investment in the media, rendering the industry poor. We know what this law did to some of our finest senior colleagues, Paul Kamara, David Tambayo, Philip Neville, Jonathan Lee, and Babai Tise, to name just a few. Paul Kamara was incarcerated in solitary confinement and was never the same Paul we knew when he was released a couple of years later. Our young colleagues were also not spared, Sam Lahai and Samuel Janjalo as examples. This was a law SLAJ has fought for more than 4 decades to be expunged from our law books. We organized peaceful demonstrations, we organized panel discussions, we challenged it at the Supreme Court, we pleaded and dialogued with the authorities concerned without success. And then we came along, Your Excellency, and promised in a manifesto that you would repeal the law if you were elected President of the Republic. Your Excellency, every journey, no matter how long, will one day come to an end. And so last year, 2020, we witnessed the historic repeal of the obnoxious law, ushering a new dawn for not only the media in Sierra Leone, but for every citizen in the area of freedom of expression and of the press. And the timing of the repeal would not have come at a better time than a year to our 50th anniversary as a professional association dedicated to promoting, promoting and defending freedom of expression and of the press. Therefore, Your Excellency, at our just concluded Golden Jubilee AGM 2021 here in Bo City, we recognize the contribution of all stakeholders towards this milestone. from civil society, the international community, the Parliament of Sierra Leone, to our own members, including foundation members and past presidents, both dead and alive. Your Excellency, you recall that during the symbolic signing of the repeal document at this conference room on October 20, on 20th and 28th October 2020, I made a promise in my statement that SLAJ will give you a befitting honor for fulfilling your manifesto promise of repealing the criminal libel law. If you, as our president, promised and delivered, we also have a moral obligation to fulfill our promise to you. And this is exactly what this award is all about. Meanwhile, Your Excellency, in a meeting like this, it is but necessary that we, as the Fourth Estate, remind the government of its obligation to the people of this country to provide basic services and ensure equal opportunities for every Sierra Leonean, regardless of political party affiliation, region, tribe, class, gender, social and physical status. SLAJ will continue to play its civic role of holding the government to account, and our partnership and collaboration should not be seen to undermine that. Gone are the days when SLAJ conducts itself as an anti-government body. Rather, we now see ourselves as partners, not partners in wrongdoing, but in promoting good governance, accountability, peace and stability, and development initiatives for the common good. Mr. President, even as we continue to thank you and appreciate you, we are still praying that we will sum up the courage to transform the old Daily Mail building to a befitting secretariat for our association. We know and we have seen you do what we thought was impossible. So we are confident that asking for something as small as a Daily Mail building is within your means and you can do it. Finally, Your Excellency, let me on behalf of the entire membership of SLAJ make two presentations to you. One is a SLAJ publication on the impact of COVID-19 on journalism in Sierra Leone. This book, the product of a partnership between SLAJ and the Bournemouth University in the UK, will help government understand the impact of COVID-19 on the media industry and has recommendations for strengthening the disaster-prepared media to meet future challenges of our country's vulnerability to natural disasters. The second one is an award crowning you as champion of free speech. We are fulfilling your manifesto promise of repealing the criminal libel law. And as we make this final presentation, Your Excellency, let me take this opportunity, Mr. President, that this award comes with immense responsibility. As champion of free speech, you must do all in your power to ensure that this country, under your leadership, will not pass any legislation that will take away the freedom and the civic space we have achieved with the repeal of the criminal libel. Once more, thank you very much. For the formal presentation. Thanks.
Thank you very much, the President of SLAJ and the Executive, for such a very memorable presentation. It's now my honor to invite His Excellency the President for a response.
Chief Minister, Ministers, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the Fourth Estate, I want to start by congratulating SLAJ on the celebration of the Golden Jubilee anniversary. I think this is a great milestone for any professional group. But what makes it interesting is the fact that we are celebrating this together at a time when we have just repealed Part 5 of the Public Order Act of 1965. This achievement is important for us all, especially with our commitment to free speech in this country. Ours was not just a lip service. I believe that democracy must go with the free press. We cannot be right all the time. We can be critical friends, and that is what I appreciate about a responsible press. And that is why I decided to take the bold step. So, by honoring me with this as champion of the free press, I think it's a bonus for me, because it was already a commitment I made in the manifesto. When we talk, we do it. So we did say and we did it, and to get anything as a result of that is a bonus for me. But I think I'd like to thank you for thinking about that, because many governments have had the opportunity to do it, but they did not have the strength of the mind to take on such a challenge. Of course, there were critical views within my own government and elsewhere why we want to even conceive of the idea to get rid of it, because you guys are considered a very troublesome constituency. But I think you are a useful part of a healthy democracy. We cannot have just one voice. We should have dissenting voice, especially when those dissenting views are responsible. I think they give us the opportunity to rethink some of the decisions we make and add value to the decisions we make, and make it even more critical so that the decisions are rounded and take into consideration the views of many others. I am never afraid of dissenting views, and maybe that is one of the reasons why I was never afraid to really take on this challenge. We all know that it is not even possible to clamp down today. It's a fruitless endeavor, because there are so many ways you can express yourselves. And as a matter of fact, everybody is a journalist in the world now with the new media. So that is why we talk about responsible professional journalists, those who can take critical views, synthesize them and make them useful for public consumption, rather than just commenting or stating or doing what a lot of us do today using social media. So for me, the Golden Jubilee is a great moment, and for you to be in charge, I think that makes it an honor and privilege for this generation of leaders in the media to have been the ones. And I want to use this opportunity also to extend my gratitude to a minister who has been tenacious, who believed in what I said, and despite the many obstacles that he came across, he held on to my promise and delivered on it. So I want to thank him and the leadership of the ministry. It was never easy, and we will continue to make efforts to make sure that our country is a better place. It is not enough. Our efforts as a government are not enough. It takes us, all of us, to really build a better society, and that is why we have extended this invitation to you to feel free to comment, and to argue points that can make us a better state and country. So Of course, in the process, we had civil society and other international partners who worked with us. I want to use this opportunity to thank all of them for that support and to continue to work with you in terms of making your job easier, providing the necessary support that can lead to professionalism in SLAJ, so that at the end of the day, we can be a better society. I had the opportunity of reading about journalism in this country, and I'm very proud that we are one of the first countries in sub-Saharan Africa that developed a professional journalism, and that in places like Bonth Island, Bo district, we published on a regular basis, and the circulation was enough to cause that. So we've had a very, not a humble beginning, we've had in the past a great career path for a lot of people, and you are just stepping into their shoes. So, and I truly believe that you have a very important role to play in the democracy that we are trying to build, in the development process that we are engaged in, and in building society itself. So I do not do this to be giving a plaque. For me, a plaque is a bonus to what I feel is really correct. On that note, I want to thank you for considering this award, and I will definitely assure you that insofar as I remain here, we will be critical friends, and we will provide the support necessary for you to thrive, not only to practice journalism, but to thrive and be a better organization. Thank you all, and I hope that our friendship continues on a mutual respect basis. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. You actually spoke like a true champion of free press, and I hope that you will have felt more motivated. On that note, that is how we bring the end to this formal ceremony. We will now rise for national anthem, and after which we'll have photo opportunity. Thank you very much. Please be seated. We'll now have one of our security check the door to make way to the lawn. The staging of protocol will now lead the President of SLAJ and other executive members to the lawn for a photo opportunity with His Excellency the President. They will also be accompanied by the Chief Minister and the Minister of Information and Communications. And added to that, the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry, and then Mr. Soyi Fofana and Mr. Sheikh Bawo will also be part of that. An elder from the Ministry